My name is Wendy Mumford, and I work in the tourism culture and business growth division. Unfortunately, someone from our inspection services couldn't make it tonight. So I will go over, I guess, the general requirements of starting a business in St. John's. And my colleague Glenn is on the chat, so on the call, if anyone had any questions, you can pop it in the chat. Here's a quick overview, outline of what I'm going to talk about this evening. I would go through a few slides about our services here at the Business Information Center, and I will also provide an overview of the common permits and regulations for business startup in St. John's. So there's a picture of our building. Our building, we're located at 348 Water Street. We promote St. John's as a great place to live, visit, study, and to start or do business. Our division is also responsible for many of the free events you will see throughout the year, like Canada Day celebrations and the pedestrian mall. In a nutshell, the Business Information Center provides business information and connections. You can reach us at stjohns.ca/business. I'm gonna stick to my notes. There are many factors that can contribute to the success of an entrepreneur as they launch their new business. Typically, entrepreneurs are risk takers, creative people who have the stamina to run a business. Many factors can affect your success, including the timing of your business, how competitive the local market is, the reliability of your supply chain, the amount of capital you are able to obtain, and the current economic climate. One of the typical questions I get asked is about business structure. So choosing the right legal structure is a necessary part of running your business. Your business legal structure has many ramifications, and it can determine how much liability your company faces, or if you're faced with any lawsuits or taxes. So either you can set up as a sole proprietor or a partnership, or you can incorporate. So as sole proprietor, you report your income on your personal income tax. And if you decide to incorporate, the corporation's income is separate from the owner's personal income. So given the different tax rates for business and personal incomes, your business structure can significantly impact your tax burden. If you do decide to incorporate, you do require a business number from the Canada Revenue Agency account. And if you have payroll or you need to register for HST, you will have to register for this business number. Specifically in the city of St. John's, we don't have a business registration process. However, most businesses require an occupancy permit. And just keep in mind, you may have to use experts as well. Why is slow? There, sorry. Huh? So before starting your business, do your research. Business planning is important at all stages of a business life cycle. A business plan can be as short as a one-page or a more extensive document. A business plan is important when seeking financing and investors. The Business Center can provide information on how to prepare a business plan, but we do not prepare them for you. And Scott will have more information on Futurepreneur's free business planning workshop. as you go along. And as I mentioned, research is vital to your plan. The more information you have, the better you will be informed to make business decisions. Data and statistics can help you identify your customers, identify your competition, find out which neighborhoods have most of your potential customers. And we can assist you in finding information so you can learn more about your industry,
Caralho,
your
você tem
competitors, and
bucho
markets.
dele, né?
Esperar que eu vou me deixar.
Oops, sorry about that. So there's several sources of information. Statistics Canada can help you learn more about your industry, your competitors, markets, the economy. ACOLA provides a business information service that's online. The public library, they offer research tools, newspapers, and magazines that may be helpful. The provincial government runs a community accounts website, which provides data on key social and economic indicators at the community and provincial level. And the city, we have a section of our website called Neighborhood Profiles. We've divided St. John's into 28 distinct areas, providing demographic information and other data about a neighborhood. So this can help entrepreneurs find out more about your trade area and the residents who live there. The profiles can help you answer such questions as, does the area I intend to open my business have more homeowners or renters, baby boomers, or millennials? There also is BizPal, bizpal.ca. That helps you find municipal, provincial, and federal permits and licenses that you may require when starting or operating your business. BizPal is not all-inclusive, though it doesn't include home-based business information. So how we can help. The City of St. John's, we have several business guides, and we now have one of our business guides is available in Ukrainian, French, and English. We provide free assistance to help you identify which regulations can impact your business, and we help you find the information you need to navigate startup requirements. We provide referrals and links to industry and funding agencies connecting businesses to community resources and funding programs. We also offer information consulting to entrepreneurs to gather local market intelligence. We can provide you information on the local economy, the real estate market, and so on. And we're willing to meet with you one-on-one, in person, or through a call. St. John's offers a strong network of organizations from industry-specific associations and government agencies to the YMCA business planning program, Futurpreneur. We can see our flag raising from last year. There are several industry and community associations geared to helping entrepreneurs start their businesses. So now I guess we're getting more into the City of St. John's requirements for starting a business. You need to keep in mind that often the three levels of government are involved in business startups. So we're the municipal level, the provincial level of government, and the government of Canada. In St. John's, most home-based businesses require an occupancy permit to operate. This permit is a cost of $50, and additional fees are determined by the nature of your application. One of the first things to do is to confirm that your intended location is zoned for the type of business you want to operate there. So normally, if you're choosing a location, it's a permitted use, you would complete this application. It's called the application for a building permit. And you would need to attach a floor plan of the business space and a property survey, and that can be dropped off to the building counter desk at City Hall, or you can certainly scan the documents and send them to, I can give you the address after it's the permits. A home office, so a home office would also complete this application, this $50 application. And yeah, so this is our most straightforward business. We know it's zoned. This is the application you would use. You would mark the change of occupancy box. You would include commercial building. In this spot, you would write something like retail shop selling shoes. Your basic business. And usually the time frame of getting a business like that approved is 3 to 4 weeks. Could be faster. Now we have, if you're constructing a new building or trying to open your business in a non-conforming location, your business would have to complete the planning development application. And these types of applications require city council approval. For instance, a home office would also have to complete this application if the public would be visiting their residence. And typical fees for a home occupation business are around $550. These are one-time fees, and there is no yearly business tax. And some examples of a home occupation could be a hair salon, a wedding consultant, offering music lessons, pet grooming, food preparation, childcare, where the public are coming to your residence. Also, and this is an example of the planning and development application there. So we have several business plan templates on our website, including a link to Futurpreneurs. We have a more in-depth guide to municipal regulations that provides an overview of the permits and taxation in the city of St. John's. We have several economic documents on the local economy, and this can help you make better decisions in your business. We are experts on the St. John's economy, and we provide updates on population growth, employment, income, housing, and retail sales. Every month, we publish a monthly economic snapshot newsletter. And if you want to sign up for that newsletter, you can email business@stjohns.ca, and I will add you to that list. And just finishing up. And here's, I guess, our contact information. We aim to be the first point of contact for entrepreneurs starting a business in St. John's. If you're thinking of starting a business, talk to us first. Often people might be excited. They might go ahead and rent a location for their business, and then it turns out the zoning isn't correct. That doesn't mean the business cannot open, but it's going to be a longer process. So keep that in mind. It's always nice to, before you sign any leases for your commercial space, to check with us, to check the zoning. And keep in mind that there are regulations from the government of Newfoundland and the government of Canada For instance, if you're starting a restaurant or a food business, you would need a food establishment license from Service NL. If you plan to serve liquor, you would need a permit from the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation. So that's it for me, and I'm not sure if anyone has any questions or if we'll go right into Scott's presentation.
Thank you very much.
So probably any question? We have 34 people in a meeting and nobody doesn't have any question.
Друзі, якщо ви не можете сказати англійською, напишіть чи скажіть, ми перекладемо, не хвилюйтесь, все ок.
Доброго вечора. Якщо можна, будь ласка, українською мовою, бо англійською трошки не впевнено. Краще, чи зможете, будь ласка, перекласти питання?
Так, звісно, кажіть. А краще напишіть, ми перекладемо. Так буде швидше і
Вам
простіше.
написати особисто краще? Чи...
Ні, тут в чаті. Можете писати, в принципі, всі учасники цього заходу можуть писати питання в чаті, ми їх можемо в кінці нашої презентації обговорити. Я думаю, так буде простіше.
Ага, добре, дякую, зрозуміла. Okay.
Hey Wendy, just translate for you, so we have short conversation about, so like if people have a question, he can just write that in a chat, we translate it, and after all of our presentation, we can go ahead to question and answer section and spoke about questions. I think it'd be more productive, yeah?
Yeah, and my email address is just business@stjohns.ca.
Awesome. So yeah, I think we can move forward with part of Darren, probably. Darren?
Did you have a question for me?
No, I think if it's your section next.
Oh, no, I think Scott.
Scott,
I'm,
okay.
I'm a active participant.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
Okay,
Thank you.
gotcha.
Darren, I don't mind. If you want to take some time, you can jump right in.
Hey, Scott, I wouldn't dare try to take away your thunder.
That's some expectations. All right. Thanks, folks. I'll get going. I'll get started. I got a presentation that I'll share. I'll try not to be too long. I'll try to do this pretty quick. And I just want to say, well, thanks for everybody for showing up, for attending. This is amazing. As we said at the beginning, this is Global Entrepreneurship Week. Many people probably don't know that. None of the people I chatted with do. So I just want to make sure that folks know that it's Global Entrepreneurship Week. So this is a really big week. And this is when the world gets together and celebrates the entrepreneurs, the innovators, all the people that get up and, start businesses. And there's literally hundreds of thousands of events happening around the globe this week to celebrate entrepreneurship. So we couldn't be more pleased that Wendy at the city helped us out with the flag raising ceremony and the event. And like I said, this was the event today was super cool because not only did we get to do it with the city, but we had Bruce and Taris and Sophia join us. So I think it just made it even better. It was definitely my favorite flag raising ceremony, Global Entrepreneurship Week thus far. And I think we've done 11 now, Wendy. So just want to say thanks to all you folks for helping out. So I'll share my screen. I just want to give a quick overview of Futurpreneur, where I work, what we do, how we help in the Canadian entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I always say this right off the bat, and you'll understand what Futurpreneur is once I get into it. And I know this program is not going to be available to everybody. You might be outside the age range and might not be eligible yet. And totally understand that. But like Wendy said, all of the resources that Futurpreneur Canada has, it's available to anybody. So I want to stress that and to make sure that we get in there. And I'll get into my presentation. So I got it up and going, and I'm just gonna second. Okay, should be ready to go. Awesome. Hopefully everybody can see that. So yeah, just a quick overview of Futurpreneur in case you don't know what we are, which most people don't, which would be my fault because that's my job, is to make sure you do. I'm just going to move something out of the way. So yeah, so what Futurpreneur is that we are Canada's only national nonprofit that's dedicated to providing inclusive financing, mentorship, and business resources to help diverse aspiring entrepreneurs in the 18 to 39 age range to either start, buy, or grow successful businesses. Again, so we're the only national organization authorized to adjudicate loans on behalf of the BDC's behalf, the Business Development Bank of Canada, and they can match our funding 2-to-1. So we can actually provide funding in terms of loans up to $75,000 in collateral-free financing to those early stage young entrepreneurs. So our purpose is to drive inclusive Canadian prosperity by fostering the success of diverse young entrepreneurs. And again, our mission is to empower those diverse entrepreneurs in the 18 to 39 age range by providing loans with mentorship and resources to help start or buy businesses that contribute to this sustainable and inclusive economic prosperity in the communities and across the country. So that's the only slide I'm actually going to read from. I just wanted to get that there and to get it out, just to give you a little bit of background as to who we are. And I like to sum it up by this way, is that Futurpreneur, we help young entrepreneurs start, buy, and grow successful businesses. So that's us. And there's a picture of some actual entrepreneurs that we've started. These are from Winnipeg. So I just want to touch on this. I'm not going to go through it. Like I said, it's important to note that Futurpreneur, where I work, we are a national nonprofit, okay? And we're headquartered in Toronto, but we have locations all across Canada. So no matter what province or territory you might be located, we do have support services there that could hopefully assist. So if you know of anybody in your networks that's anywhere in Canada that's in our age range, which I'll get into again in a second, that's thinking about starting a business, absolutely, definitely send them to Futurpreneur. Connect them with me, and you can say, hey, I have a friend in Saskatchewan or in Winnipeg or Alberta, and I can connect you to my coworker who is in that region to help anybody that you know that might need some assistance. So our model is, again, we provide financing. So the main reason why we started, and we've been around for a while, next year is a big year for us. Next year will be our 30th year doing this. So, and the reason why we started is because there's a big gap out there. Young Canadian entrepreneurs, typically one of their biggest complaints is that their trouble starting up a business is having access to financing, to funding. They need funding to start, and because they're young and they're looking at starting a business, that's pretty risky. A lot of people might not want to help them. That's why we're here, to help more young Canadian entrepreneurs get started in business by providing them with those accessible startup funds. So we can do funding up to $75,000 in partnership with the BDC. For everybody that we start up and provide a loan to, we pair them up with a volunteer mentor for the first 2 years of their business. And we have a lot of free resources and networking, which I'm going to get into in a couple of minutes. So we have 4 main programs that we offer that hopefully helps more young Canadian entrepreneurs get started. The main one is our startup program. That's the one we've had for the full 29-ish years we've been doing this. That's where we provide loans up to $75,000 and mentorship to help a young entrepreneur who's looking at starting a business. We also have programs dedicated to helping more young Canadian Black entrepreneurs get started and more young Indigenous entrepreneurs get started as well. And we also have a super cool side hustle program, and that's designed for our young entrepreneurs who are currently employed. So I have a job right now, Scott, but I want to start up a part-time business or a side hustle business. We have a program that also supports those entrepreneurs. So we basically support and fund a lot of wide range business sectors. And here's just some of the examples that we do. We do a lot of food related businesses, restaurants, food trucks. We also do a lot of skilled trades. You know, we definitely do some technology based businesses, childcare, daycare centers, very popular with us. We do a lot of healthcare professionals. We do a lot of retail, especially clothing, pet related businesses, hair care salons, aesthetics and stuff. But there's certain business ideas and concepts that we're not able to fund, as we are funded through the federal government. And some of those, but not all, they include, like, we avoid anything alcohol related. So if somebody's looking at opening up a bar, we can't fund that. We avoid anything to do with cannabis or tobacco, vaping. We can't do tanning salons or Airbnbs and stuff like that. And we generally avoid anything that's really early stage research and development. So here's the key. I won't go through all this. This is a nasty looking slide. But in order to be eligible for our program, you do need to be in our age range, 18 to 39. You do need to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident in order to be eligible for our programs. And you do need, because it's a loan program, there is a credit check criteria. So there's we do pull your credit check. And like I said, we need to make sure that your business idea is eligible, because there's only certain ideas that we can fund. There's other ones that we can't fund. And if you've already started a business, we still could potentially help, as long as your business hasn't been operating for more than 2 years on a full-time basis. We still consider that to be a startup. And again, why I say that is that we were created almost 30 years ago to help those young Canadian entrepreneurs get started in business. So it's typically anybody, Scott, I'm thinking about starting up a food truck in Mount Pearl. Great, we can help you, hopefully. Or I started up a dog grooming business a year and a half ago. They still could be eligible for our funding because they're still in that key first 2 years. I'm not going to go through any of these loan terms and conditions. It's all on our website, but I'd just like to put it up there just in case people, want to see. I don't want to bore you with the details tonight, but it is a loan, so you do have to pay it back with interest. The good thing with our program, because we are a nonprofit, we're not in this to make money. We do have a flexible repayment rate for when we loan somebody funds for the first year. They only pay the interest portion of the loan. We actually defer the principal portion, so they pay that back over the next 2 to 5 years, and there's no penalty with Futurpreneur if somebody wants to make a lump sum payment or pay off the loan early. So basically just how it works is that, if you're a young Canadian entrepreneur out there thinking about starting a business, or have started a business, or thinking about buying a business, if you're just at the idea stage, we got some amazing free virtual workshops, which dropped my pen, which I'm going to get into in a second. We also have, like Wendy mentioned a couple of times, an amazing business resource center with a free business plan tool, which I'll get into in a second. And if you're looking for funding and mentorship, if you're ready to go, yeah, absolutely, you contact us, and then we'll take it there. So because it is a loan that we're loaning people funding, it is an application process. So first of all, people have to go to our website. Everything is done online. You don't send me anything. It's all done online. You register, you apply, we check your credit, we check your business idea, we review your business plan, because you do need a business plan with a cash flow in order to apply. Go through the application process. Hopefully we get you an approval, then we pair you up with a mentor, and then hopefully we disperse your loan and put money into your account. And you simply go to our website, futurpreneur.ca, which I'll put in the chat box. I wish I had Glenn on my team. Glenn could be filling out the chat box there with the information in the back, like Wendy. I'll do it afterwards. And it's pretty straightforward to register for it. I just want to quickly highlight before I wrap up here, and I'm almost done, just some of the programs we have available. And like I said, these are available to anybody. You don't need to be within our age range. And trust me, I understand that. I get a lot of people, I'm way outside the Futurpreneur age range. And I get people all the time that say, hey Scott, I'm in my early 40s. I'm too old for your loan program, but what other programs do I have? And I basically tell people any resource that Futurpreneur Canada has outside of that loan program, they're available to anybody. You don't need to be eligible for our programs. You don't need to be interested in our programs. I'll give an example. I literally had somebody this afternoon from New Brunswick call me, and she said, Scott, I actually don't need a loan. I'm not looking for funding. I'm looking for all this other stuff. And I said, perfect. And I gave her all of this other information, and that's the kind of stuff that she was looking for. So one of our most popular ones is we have a very popular what's called the Rock My Business Workshop series. This is a 3-part virtual free workshop series, and it's broken down into 3 sessions: Rock My Business Idea, My Business Plan, and My Cash Flow. Again, 3 separate sessions, one that helps you focus your business idea, the other one helps you focus your business plan, and the other one helps you focus your cash flow. And each session is 3 hours in length. So that's 9 free hours of content. We do these roughly every month. We take December off, so the next one is going to be January. But if you ever need a little bit of help and you want to attend a free virtual session, and we do these all across the country, so we'll have young entrepreneurs from Newfoundland and Labrador to BC and everywhere in between. And sometimes we literally had hundreds of people attend these sessions. So I think the last cash flow session we did, there was something like 270 people on it and stuff. And there's breakout rooms, so there's a chance to network virtually with other people, but 9 free hours of content. And again, you don't need to fall within our age range or be eligible or are interested in applying. They're available to anybody. Another amazing initiative that we do is the My Canadian Startup, which we partner with TD Bank, and that's another program that we offer. We do both virtual and in-person sessions to help newcomers think about starting a business and some of the challenges, that they have to deal with when launching a business. These are in webinar, workshop, e-guides, lots of resources there. There's one happening in Moncton, New Brunswick next week. We're hopefully going to do one in Newfoundland and Labrador in person soon, and we do these virtually as well. We also have a growth accelerator for those Futurpreneur programs. It's participants. It's a 6-week program for those people that are looking at growing and scaling a business as well. We also just finished up our G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance, where we sent 45 of Canada's top young entrepreneurs to South Africa to represent Canada. We actually had 2 delegates from Newfoundland and Labrador selected and represented this year, which is amazing. So just in summary for Futurpreneur, if you're interested in applying for the loan program, so if somebody needs funding to help get started, the eligibility criteria, again, we only deal with young entrepreneurs under 40, so it's the 18 to 39 age range. Do need to be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. You have to be past the early research and development stage. If you have already started a business, great, as long as you haven't been operating for more than 2 years, so 24 months on a full-time basis, that's the key. So if somebody has been operating a business part-time for many, many years, that's totally fine as well. And again, everything that we do, so Futurpreneur, I always tell people we offer financing, so a loan, which is repayable. I probably get 3 calls. I'm sure Wendy does too. I probably get 3 calls a day. People who are like, hey, Scott, I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm looking for a grant. Okay, and I always say, okay, that's not us. We don't do grants, so we don't give people money. With us, it's a loan. So it is repayable. Again, 18 to 39 years old. We deal with startups, not expansions. Purchases of existing businesses are eligible. We deal with a lot of purchases, people looking to buy existing businesses like, hey, Scott, there's a business in my community that's been operating for 22 years. It's for sale. I want to buy it. Perfect. That's eligible for us. Franchises are eligible for us as well. And all of our loan programs come paired up with a mentor for your first 2 years of your business. And like I said, we have a whole free suite of online business resources there. And those are available to anybody. Like I said, any age, you don't have to be applying for our loan. And that's basically it. So we're out there, we're on all the social channels. Our website is the best place to get the information. And if anybody in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I also deal with New Brunswick as well, English-speaking New Brunswick, has any questions about Futurpreneur, they can reach out to me directly. And I guess the big difference between, myself and Wendy with the City of St. John's is that anytime people are thinking about starting a business in the city specifically, we'll often get questions about those stuff. So unlike Wendy, which Wendy did a super great job, Wendy and the city are experts in permits regulations. We don't deal with any of that. And that's probably one of the most popular questions we get. Somebody will call me up and say, hey, Scott, I'm thinking about starting a business. Do I need a permit? Do I need this? Do I need this? And I deal with all of Newfoundland and Labrador. So every municipality, every city. So I don't know all of the permits and stuff. So that's why I always defer people to the experts like Wendy if they're in the city of St. John's, because they know exactly what's required and stuff. So, and that's pretty well it for me. So I'll do the same thing. I'll stay here and answer any questions.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So far we have 4 questions, and some of this question already Glenn and Wendy answered for Vitaly. But let's talk about first, because it's also, maybe you can explain what's the difference between loan and grant. And like Vitaly's question, it's actually, is it possible to receive a grant to purchase a property for a restaurant, and what will be interest rate? So like maybe first explain what's the difference between grant and loan, and after we can move to answer all of this question. Yeah? And it's up, Scott, if you want to answer, Wendy, who is feel more comfortable answering this question.
And what was the first question? I think you said Vitaly had a couple of questions.
Yeah, it's 4 questions, and
four.
first one,
Okay.
yeah, and first one, if it's possible to receive a grant to purchase a property for a restaurant, and what will be the interest rate?
Does that mean, okay, so I'll and when do you jump in if you have it?
Yeah.
Do you mean through Futurpreneur or in general? Because I can only
In
speak about
general,
Futurpreneur.
right,
Oh, in general.
right now in general.
And the first question, hang on now, Terrace, did you say, is it possible to get a grant to purchase
Yes,
a business? Is that,
yes.
just read that piece again? Because I think that has a double thing there. I'd like to look at that.
Is it possible to receive a grant to purchase a property for a restaurant?
I will, okay, well, with Futurpreneur, okay, because I can talk in generalities and you can jump in there, Wendy. So with us, we can loan somebody. So with, okay, so I guess the main difference with Tarish, you said, was with a grant and a loan. So we'll just loosely use the term. A grant is a chunk of money that you don't have to pay back, whereas a loan would be a section of money that you do have to pay back. So I guess it is possible to get a grant to use to purchase a restaurant. I'm not familiar with any grant programs that can be used. I don't know if Wendy would have anything specifically for restaurants. I'm sure it could be if they were out there. Oh,
Yeah,
somebody
from my
trying to.
understanding, there is no really grant, and especially for startup phase. You know, some government programs, you may get wage subsidies to hire your staff, but you would just have to get a mortgage or a low interest loan from someone like Futurepreneur if you qualify. There's very few grants now at all, especially in the startup phase. It's the low interest loans.
Bruce, did you want to add in?
Oh yeah, sure. So if we're just wanted to note that if we're thinking of grants as say non-repayable funds that
Yep.
you can acquire from a program,
Yep.
and say a loan, just like Scott was saying, funds that you will have to pay back either a portion or all of it. So there's no grant program in Newfoundland, because I know Scott can talk mainly to Futurpreneur, and I could say that related to grant programs for the purchase of even real estate or premises in general for a business such as a restaurant, I don't believe there is any grant program in that context. So if you're going to try to get some money to purchase a building, it will be a repayable amount. There is a loan guarantee program for restaurants. However, that has some strict, say, eligibility requirements, but the format of it is it's the city provides a guarantee to a loan that you get with the bank. So it's a little differently. You get a loan with the bank, and if your credit isn't where it needs to be in order to, let's say, get the full amount, then in this loan program, they are able to provide a guarantee for the bank, which says if you cannot pay it back, they'll pay it back. So it mitigates the risk for the lender. So there's some way you can get in that context, but typically you can pursue a loan or a loan guarantee, but not a grant. So that's, I would say, the difference.
And I think the loan guarantee is for existing restaurants. You have to be in operation for 1 year. I could be wrong.
Would be Darren, yes, I see your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I could just chime in there. I think
Great.
Bruce, you mentioned that the city guarantees it. It's actually the federal government that actually backs up.
Perfect.
And I think, Wendy, it has to be in business for 2 years.
2 years. Okay,
Yeah.
The
So
startup phase, I'm finding more and more programs. There are limited programs in that first year, but
yeah, it's usually there are grants out there, but they're typically for the provincial government and federal government offer grants, but they're typically for up and coming, I would describe up and coming type businesses, like maybe in the wind energy or in the green tech field. There are grants available, but typically for the type of businesses that most entrepreneurs are looking to start up here in the St. John's area, whether that be a restaurant, whether it be a sewing business, a tailor business, a barber shop, grants are very hard to come by. I'm not aware of any in the past 2 years that have been available that anybody could avail of. So grants, not so much, but certainly payback loans, yes. And of course, Scott laid it out there pretty good, what's available with Futurpreneur.
And thanks, Darren. That's perfect. And again, and I know Glenn, I'll go to Glenn. Glenn had his hand up. This is where Darren and Andre and Glenn might be able to provide a lot more insight and help me and Wendy out. But exactly like Darren said, Bruce, like, for Vitali's question, like there could be, but I always tell people, just like Darren and Wendy said, I'm not aware of any grants that are out there that people have used to purchase for retail, especially for retail or commercial properties. None that I'm aware of, which again, there could be, I'm not the right person to ask because I'm Futurpreneur, but exactly like Darren said, like anything to do with grants, and we don't even use the word grant anymore. Me and my coworkers, we use, like as Darren said, non-repayable loans, which those are just as difficult or hard to find. We don't like the grant word anymore. But yeah, there are, like Darren said, there are absolutely grants out there. But like we said, not necessarily in the startup space. And it's like Darren, you mentioned too, what we find is that they're very sector based, Bruce. Yes. So if it's something that either the federal government or the provincial government deems as being something strategic that they want to promote, like what Darren said, maybe wind energy, maybe aquaculture, maybe ecotourism. I'm making these up. I have known of people, and Wendy, I know you have as well, where businesses might have even looked for, I need a piece of equipment and it's $50,000. And it might be, they might have found a non-repayable loan or matching contribution where if they paid $25,000, the government might pay the other $25,000 specifically if it meant this means that we can manufacture products and create jobs and export and stuff like that. So depending on the strategic, sector that could be there, absolutely. Or I've known where people said, yeah, Scott, I got a grant, and they use that word, from the provincial government to attend a trade show in New York because it's helping our business and bring more people to Newfoundland and Labrador to show off, the ecotourism or something like that. So they did receive a non-repayable loan to help that. So that there are out there, but like Darren and Wendy said, not that I know of to purchase properties or just to get a business started for free. And I don't know, Glenn, if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to highlight one. It's called the Business Benefits Finder tool, which is like on canada.ca. So I just posted that on the chat. Maybe it'd be good for folks who are looking to start a business. You can just fill out the questionnaire, and it gives you a list of different incentives that you could have, probably grants, maybe loans, and it's on like all different levels. It could be like federal government, whether it's provincial government, and like different types of funding that's out there. The other one is the study and stay program. I'm not sure if most of you have heard of, but I think the criteria is that you need to be enrolled for the study and stay program. And they do like a yearly seed competition, which is for startup companies, and they're not restricted to any sectors. So, and it's a grant, so it's a non-repayable loan. And I think depending on which position your business idea ranks, I think you get something between $5,000 to $10,000 as a one-time fee, which is non-repayable.
There are programs out there. Paro is a women's organization across Canada. They do some small grants, like I'm talking less than $1,000. I would offer a word of caution, please. Anybody who is looking for grants and you're doing it online, be very wary when companies are asking for upfront money. They're looking for an application fee to process. Sometimes this could be a scam, so be very careful. Use only trusted sources, and if somebody's looking for money upfront, I would be very careful with that. Another good resource as well, that's been mentioned, or hasn't been mentioned yet, but it was in Wendy's presentation, is the NL Business Navigators. They are a provincial government organization, funded by the provincial government. They're government employees, and they can discuss grants with you as well, if there is such a thing that's available. But traditionally, 90%, 95% of the businesses are not going to be eligible for a grant when you're first starting up. So just bear that in mind and be careful that you don't get scammed out of a $500 or $1,000 application fee.
And Darren, if I could add to that, absolutely. There is a book that used to be floating around for $500, Darren, and it was all of the free money and grants. And Wendy, you chime in there if you know, available in Canada. But it was literally just somebody who just printed off a bunch of web pages that anybody could have done for free, Wendy. And so you definitely don't need to pay $500 for that book. Wendy, do you want to add to that?
Oh yeah, back in the day, I had a couple of clients that did pay for that. Yeah.
Just be careful.
Just a note, big thanks to Glenn, who seems to be taking a lot of the questions in the chat and answering them. So really appreciate that. It's nice.
Yeah, actually, second question, it's already Glenn answered. I think it's fully answered for it's about if family work in their own restaurant, they required to receive a salary or they can simply share their profits. So if you have some edit, you can edit, but I already see Glenn is answering in our chat and it's seems like it's full answer. I believe Vitaly is happy with this answer. So third question is how much capital is required to the moment of registration in the company?
If you're talking about incorporating their company with registered companies, typically the fees can be as low as $270 if you do it online, up towards $500, depending on I guess various things. The government so we don't really have a business registration, but our basic permit costs $50. And there is no fee for the Government of Canada business number. You can just apply for that online, and that's kind of like how you register your business with CRA. Now, a sole proprietor saying that does not have to do that. They can voluntarily register for a business number until their revenue is $30,000 per year.
Okay, so next question is how can one obtain a permit to sell food and alcohol for restaurant? Thank you, Glenn. You already sent all of this link. You're doing a really great job. And if Tati Basho is here and it's have question, and I believe again Glenn already answered, and I hope you happy with your answer or you want added something. I'm not sure if Tati is here.
Sorry, I think there's a follow-up question from Tati which says that they only rent a part of the co-working studio
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
they're not the main tenant. And so do they still require a business license? So I don't know, Wendy, if
On
you
the
have the answer to that.
Yeah, no, they don't. If they're co-sharing, if they're just renting one station in an air salon, they would not need their own occupancy permit. A way to think about it, the city is more concerned about the safety of the building. We're more about the safety of the building in a way than the business. So if it's, as long as there's one occupancy permit, that person, the individual renting the table, doesn't need her own occupancy. She would report her income, she or he, as a sole proprietor on the personal income tax if they didn't want to get their own number.
There's another question here which says, if I'm a sole proprietor and I have an educational website, sell lessons worldwide online and all Canadian provinces included, do I need to pay GST, HST to every province from where the customers purchase their lessons from, or how does it work? Or is it just a registered province?
That would be CRA, and they do have, I'll quickly look for the link. It's called a business liaison officer with CRA. So I'll look for that service. And that's a free service. So that's a question. It's in the chat now. So CRA as a free information service for small businesses if you have tax related questions.
Yeah, that's an excellent service provided by the CRA. It provides a 1 hour face-to-face or can be virtual, where you can ask all kinds of questions and they'll make sure that you have a good understanding of your responsibilities, whether it's related to income tax or GST, HST. And I think that's something that people need to remember, is that in Canada, there are two taxes. One is the income tax, which is what you pay on the money that you earn. But there's also GST, HST, which is on revenue that your business makes, earns for the business. And if it's a sole proprietorship, it's one and the same. But the importance is that the GST, HST is money that you collect from your clients and you remit to the government on a quarterly basis. So it's not money that you pay out of your pocket, it's you collect it on behalf of the government. And this business, the liaison officer, will help to explain all of that in great detail. And again, it only applies, as the chat shows, it only applies if your business makes $30,000 annually, or more than 7,500 in a quarter. So be careful on that as well.
And I want to add one more pieces. It's like for after our info session, all of our participants got email, separate email with all of this link what we have here. So no worry, you not lose anything. So just in case. And we skip one question. I'm sorry, it's a little bit early. It's Mr. Oleg asked, is it possible to open an art gallery through any program or receive some kind of government support for Ukrainian artists?
The city of St. John's, not for opening a art gallery, but we have a call now for once a year we have a call for art procurement where we purchase art. It's decided on our art jury. I'll quickly look that up. And I believe someone mentioned the Kitty Bitty Artisan Studio. They sometimes have a pop-up where they invite artists in. You don't need to be a full-fledged member. So I would definitely check that out too as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, my bad. Glenn again already answered this question. Thank you, Glenn.
There's also the Iceberg Alley, I think, Iceberg Gallery,
Oh,
which
yes.
happens every winter. So I think it's free to enroll, and they have like a festive market, I think a couple of times a year, or I think it's only in the winter, but I think it's coming up soon. So if you're looking to like showcase your artwork, I think that would be a great place to sign up.
And the Arts NL is another great resource, I would think. The Arts, Newfoundland and Labrador Arts Council.
Or maybe business and arts NL too, Darren, that might be good.
Yes, yep. I don't know what the difference is in them, but there's obviously there's a couple of them there. So
Yep.
Arts NL and Business and Arts NL would be worth checking out for anybody who's in that line of business.
Maybe even the Craft Council of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yes.
Now I know we might be moving into crafts versus art, but you said an art gallery, so it could,
Yeah.
Could be some crossover there. Somebody somewhere would know.
And Newfoundland Canvas also allows artists to join for free. So they create a website and you have your own section, and you have a bunch of different photographers in Newfoundland and Labrador who showcase their work there, and then you can sell it online as well. And I think they take about a small percentage of every sale, but it's a good way to like showcase your own talent, and you don't have to create your own website because it's hosted on the Newfoundland Canvas website. And if someone wants to print, then Newfoundland Canvas takes care of all the logistics.
It's great.
Yeah, it's look like it's all questions so far what we have. So maybe some new questions. Maybe somebody's interested something.
And Taris, I know we didn't get into it today. It's a little bit beyond myself and Wendy's scope, but if anybody has a technology related business idea, there's so many supports here within the region as well for tech-based ideas, whether it's through Genesis or TechNL and Springboard, all kinds of other excellent resources for tech-based ideas too.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So far, nobody doesn't interested. I don't know. It's almost 30 people. So probably we need coming back to story about Ukrainian diaspora. It's more interested for people than business. Bruce still here. I believe Bruce Reddy spoke about diaspora.
Oh yeah, but there was a question from Anatoly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Nope, it got answered
Yeah.
by Glenn.
And Glenn.
Glenn's on it. Oh no, but some of these when there's a presentation, a lot of people gain the knowledge that they need through the presentation, and it takes time to process. And then they'll have questions that come up days later that they can kind of either follow up on or contact us. And if we can get a hold of Scott or Darren or Glenn or Wendy, we're in good shape.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned before, we descended all of this link and all of information what we have today on the meeting to all of our participants who registered. And yeah, and next session, like you Bruce mentioned, we have a round of this session, and next session it'll be about how obtain some financial and how work with CBDC and MBO organization. We'll let you know, of course, when it happens.
Perfect.
That's fantastic.
Okay, I have a question.
So go ahead.
I have a question about loan. If it's possible to start a business and have a loan for person who don't have a permanent resident, who has only work permit, or person need to have a permanent resident or citizen? Thank you.
In general, or because the only thing I can really speak to is
No, Scott,
Futurpreneur.
this question to you. Yep.
Oh, for me,
Maybe.
Futurpreneur. Okay.
Yep,
Yep.
sorry to you.
No, it's fine. Yes. And your question was, is it possible for us to get a loan if you don't have your permanent resident? Is that correct? Well, okay.
Sorry.
I'll assume.
Yep, sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
So with us, no. Yeah. So what our two main criterias for eligibility for us is you do need to be within our age range, 18 to 39, and either a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. So if you fall with outside of that age range, your business still could be eligible, because a lot of times we deal with partnerships. So if you happen to have a business partner, and as long as your business partner who owns the majority shares of the company, so at least 51%, meets that eligibility criteria, it would be eligible. But if somebody, and it's no different than age. I get people who call me up all the time and they just turned 40. Scott, I just turned 40 last week. I know it says 18 to 39. Is there anything? No, it's 18 to 39. And it's to say, and I literally had a call today from New Brunswick, because I also deal with New Brunswick. And somebody said, I don't have my PR yet. I'm working on it, waiting for it. Am I eligible for it while I'm waiting on it? Unfortunately, no, it has to be Canadian citizen, permanent resident, 18 to 39. Unless there's a partnership. Now, I do know of other programs. I think you said, Taris, that the CBDCs will be doing the next session and MBO.
Yes.
There is a loan program through the CBDCs for non-PRs. And I don't know if Darren, if you know want to do that, but there definitely is options, yes, not through Futurpreneur, unfortunately, no.
Yep, Metro Business Opportunities, CBDC, will offer a newcomer loan program up to $20,000 without your PR. And they are trying to work to get that number up even higher. But right now, it's at least $20,000 to help you with your business without PR. So your next series, the next session that you have, you want to pay you'd want to attend that one, because the folks at Metro Business, Bernadette and Lisa, these are experts in the field, and they would certainly be able to help you with a loan up to $20,000 without your PR.
Thank you very much.
And who needs ChatGPT when you have Glenn in the background? This is amazing. Glenn, I have 2 presentations tomorrow. I would love it if you would accompany and just fill out the chat box for me, please.
Done.
Okay, one more question for Anatoly. Can I be a solo prioritator if I'm not a permanent resident? Yeah, yes, probably.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's have any restriction.
Well, you just have to be
Unless your work
careful
permit
of
says.
Yeah, be careful of your work permit. And you would have to verify that with the federal government, IRCC.
And probably one
Anyone
restriction
can
is
own a business, but sometimes working in the business, someone, a non-Canadian, can own a business. Sometimes it gets tricky in working in the business.
on this question, what Vitaly says, I sent him a link. He's asked about government program where you can buy from government. So like,
Yeah, we're doing an upcoming online workshop, Taris. I think about how to do business with the government of Canada. I think we're doing another one of those. That's a popular workshop we're doing for free.
yeah, it's actually a question, is there is a website or program where you can apply for government contracts or corporate organization catering contracts? It's actually a question about, for example, like Netflix has started working in St. John's and there is a food truck feeding the crew. How can someone get such a contract? Or another, it's what I mentioned, we have like special agency in Canada government who is do all of this business. Yeah, and I sent to it this link. Just 1 second I found. But you can answer if you have answer for this question, please answer. Yeah, Wendy, Scott.
Well, yeah, for catering, we, at one time, we would have a proposal call to restaurants caterers. We, were looking for a caterer for City Hall. There was only one caterer and then we had to use that. So a lot of venues are like that. They choose one caterer. Red Oak is the only caterer that can work at the Brooms. Right now, we don't, it's kind of up to each department. But if we were looking for a caterer for a large event, we would post it to our procurement webpage that Glenn's got in the chat now. Networking is so important in the getting those type of contracts because a lot of them, if they're smaller ones, they may not require a public call. So just letting, businesses know about your service is so important. The word of mouth is so strong in St. John's for some smaller contracts like that.
And I think like this link you see on the chat, what I sent right now, yeah, like it's also public service, recruitment service. So
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
a
know if it's worth
website that's called MERX, MERX, and that's for the provincial government, and that's all, usually all tenders are listed under that MERX site.
and maybe Scott, if you have link for your session, maybe send please in the chat link for a session about Canadian government contracts. Think
Yep.
it's can be interested not only for Vitaly.
I tried to. I put the title in the chat box, Terrace, only because we did it today, so the link has expired. But I just put it. It was called the Canadian Government Contracts Myths Uncovered session. It literally was today. We'll do it again in the future, but it's just about that Canadian government contracts and the myths.
Oh, and Darren sends this one. Yeah, nice, awesome. So maybe one more question, or we'll be on the way to wrap up. We still have quite a 25 people.
Hello. I made the question in Ukrainian language, so I will try to repeat this question in English language. Sorry for my English. Okay. Darren, hi. I got conversation with Darren before, so maybe he can help me and explain a little bit better my situation. So as I told you, I rent like a small space in the co-working studio. So sorry, there is my son. Just a minute. Just a second. Sorry. And there is a question. Do I need like a specific license or a permit for my business or not?
You're renting a table or a room from another person,
Yes,
right?
table. Yeah.
I checked that one. I provided you with a response actually just recently on that. So check your email, but I confirmed it with Wendy. As Wendy said earlier, the city is concerned with the safety of the property, and the person that you're renting the table from, they have their occupancy permit from the city, so you don't need to have it from the city. So Wendy can jump in there and confirm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true. If you're just subletting almost a small space, you do not need any business license. There's no particular license for manicure, like some professions might have a professional license, but this one doesn't. If you're not doing any piercing or things, tattooing, there's no particular license for esthetician.
Yeah, you're good to go without a license from the city.
So I have just to register my business number, and then if I will reach 30,000, then I'm supposed to pay HTC tax, right?
That's correct. The
Perfect.
only other
Thank you.
suggestion that I would put in there is that you should inquire about commercial liability insurance. Should there be a need for you to have your own commercial liability insurance versus the person that you're renting from? No doubt, Kate has her own, but you probably should have yours for your own business because your clients are not her clients. So
Yeah.
it might be wise to have your own commercial liability insurance to protect your clients when they enter and exit the property and services that you provide. So commercial liability insurance is something that you should talk to a broker with. If you already have insurance policy right now for your car or anything, you can talk to your existing insurance provider. And if you don't have an insurance policy now, well, then there's a number of places that you can call, and you can reach out to me directly, and I can provide you with some names to call.
Okay, thank you. I will work about this question this week. Okay, thank you a lot.
Yeah, check your email. Check your email.
Yeah,
Darren,
okay, sure. Sorry, super busy.
even outside of the liability insurance, Darren, I had somebody about a year ago, and I hadn't even heard of this situation. And now I think about it, Darren, and Wendy, you might know this too. So they had a commercial location in the city of St. John's, everything fine, a business, but because they didn't have a lot of space at their business, and this is maybe not, Tatia's exact answer, they had a lot of stock secured at their house. Right? Because they didn't have space in the business for the stock. And they were like, we don't have any space, so we're going to store that down in the basement. And then they had a flood, ruined all their basement and the stock, and their homeowner's policy said that wasn't included under your personal. Nobody and they never even thought to share that, like you said, with their home policy, and they lost a significant amount of stock that wasn't. And I thought, wow, okay, now I even got to think about that when we're chatting that exact topic too, Darren, right?
Absolutely.
Just something
Very
as small
important.
as that, right?
Yep. And it's not uncommon
Yes.
for business owners to store stock at home because of a lack of space, or they don't want to pay for rental and go rent a storage unit, so they store it at home, and it's not covered under their home policy for sure. Tatiana, you have another question?
I just forgot to say for you, thank you a lot for your response. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Very
welcome.
Yeah, Taras, between Wendy and Glenn and Darren, I don't think there's a question that those three folks can't come up with an answer to. So
it's only because I learned it all from Wendy, and I'm learning a lot more from you recently, Scott. So the people on the call, we're blessed to have both of these people on the call because they're experts in their field, and they can lead us to make some great decisions and have the right answers. So if you have a question, my best advice to you is to reach out to Scott directly if you want a loan. And if you have anything to do with the city, make sure you reach out to Wendy because you're going to get the correct answer all the time.
Wendy is the expert. I don't want to date us, Wendy, as to how old we might, be, but I've been leaning on Wendy for a long time. And because I get a lot of questions too, Darren, I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just like, Wendy, what about this? And Wendy knows right away.
So right now we have last question, maybe not last, but again, one question for a professional Wendy, and it's about commercial kitchen rent and could not get a food tobacco license. So like, Wendy, you see this question in chat?
Yep.
Oh, you on mute, Wendy.
Yeah, I just put the That's for the food licenses.
Mhm.
So probably the environmental health branch, I just put their email address in the chat. We've lost a couple of commercial kitchens, so it's kind of difficult to find a commercial kitchen. From my understanding of the St. John's Farmers Market, their kitchen is, rented throughout the week, but that's certainly a place. The Ub and Mirroring Road, they would sometimes, let small businesses use their commercial kitchen. That's not happening anymore. There was a catering company that would lease out their kitchen and they've closed. So sometimes finding that commercial kitchen, or try to do a partnership with a restaurant. There are some restaurants that close early, not that I know of any, kind of like, and then you can go in and do your product in the nighttime. That might be an idea if you know someone. I think the Sprout restaurant on Duckworth Street, in the nighttime, it converted to selling tacos, like a separate business. When they shut down, this person would come in and do late night tacos 2 nights a week by using their commercial kitchen.
There are a number, the Lantern is currently offering rental space.
Oh, good.
The St. David's Presbyterian Church
Church,
is another one. Actually, Big Cheese Pizza in Mount Pearl actually rents out their kitchen. So I know that's in a different city than what we're talking about here tonight with the city of St. John's, but they offer their kitchen to rent as rental as well. So there's 3 more options to try if you haven't tried those 3 locations.
And I don't know, Darren, the BIS Club on Harvey Road. Our office was up above the BIS Club for 6 years. They used to rent out their kitchen because when we'd come to work in the morning, the smell of food from there was amazing. And I think they even had a contract for one of the film production crews where they were doing a lot of their late night, early morning cooking when the BIS Club. So yeah, so that was even a space that was doing that as well. I don't know if they still do, but
Yeah, and I want to add it one more space. It's around Bannerman Park. It's one of location for First Light. I'm not sure which church is it, but it's church. It's definitely church, and he rented commercial kitchen, and probably it cost like $20 an hour. Quite expensive, but this is what it
Very
is.
inexpensive. Very inexpensive compared to owning your own restaurant or your own commercial kitchen.
Oh,
for
no,
sure.
no, absolutely, absolutely. $20 an hour, yeah. But like if we spoke about few hours to make some pierogi, yeah, it's not.
It's probably the best option for most people who want to make food from their home, because making food from your home is very challenging for the as Wendy said, the environmental EHAA department. They have a lot of the regulations makes it pretty much impossible for somebody to make most types of food from home. Maybe some baked goods would be okay, but anything to do with protein, meat, fish, dairy, all of those things are very highly regulated, and getting a restaurant or getting a kitchen license in your home, it's next to impossible. Not impossible, but next to impossible. You would have to spend many, many dollars to have your kitchen certified in your home. And most times people are renting, so people are not going to put that kind of money investment into a rental property. So I would encourage people, if they're looking at a food business, is to try to rent a commercial kitchen, and usually getting a food license then is pretty easy. But as Wendy directed, if you have any questions whatsoever with a food, and it says the license does say food and tobacco license, but most people are involved just with the food part of it, send it to ehaa@gov.nl.ca. And my best advice to you is don't go to motor vehicle registration in Mount Pearl to get your question answered, because there's nobody there other than a receptionist that will take your question and pass it on. you're much better off sending an email to that email address, and you'll get an answer pretty quick. My interactions with them have been very good, and they are very quick to answer your questions. But save yourself some time. Don't drive to the motor vehicle registration office in Mount Pearl where they're located, because they're not located there really. It's only a receptionist.
Oh, right on. Well, thanks a lot for coming together, Darren, Wendy, Scott, and Glenn, and providing such insight. It was really appreciated. And we got through more questions, I think, than most workshops, you know? So it was really, really great. So I'll just leave it to Taras if you want to close up, maybe let them know when
Thank you.
and how to connect, and you know, related to next steps for the Entrepreneurship 101 course. But I just wanted to express my real gratitude for you guys coming together and doing this. At one point, we had about 37 people here, so
Yeah.
you were really heard, and your insights were, again, really appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting us. Yeah.
It's super helpers and super informations. So uncover a lot of question, and thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for all participants who join us. If somebody looking for some extend his knowledge, please join this Jot forum and stay tuned with us. We let you know about next information session, and like I mentioned before, you got all of this link in a follow-up email. Thank you.
Bye.